The Radio Wammo Breakfast.
Kiwi.
Well, my guest now in the Kiwi studio is the star of Entourage and the documentary maker behind a brand new documentary called Teenage Paparazzo. His name is Adrian Grenier and he joins me in the Kiwi studio.
Hey.
Adrian, good to see you.
Hey, good to see you.
Welcome to New Zealand.
Thank you.
Boy, did you, when you're on the way here, did you think you were heading to the end of the earth? Was it the end of time?
Backwards and upside down.
Yeah.
I've had to walk on my hands to get it right.
Is this your first time here?
Yeah, I've been to Australia a couple times, but never New Zealand. So I was excited to step off the plane and explore.
It's very cool that it's this documentary rather than the telly show that's managed to get you around the world.
Yeah, well, I'm very excited to be promoting it because I'm very proud of the film and I want to share it.
Yeah, I saw a tweet from you the other day that I think.
Are you following me?
I am following you.
Nice.
That I think kind of sums up a little bit of your life, but also the situation with this documentary as well. You said, "I'm sitting here doing an interview about teenage paparazzo while being snapped by a paparazzo. What a hall of mirrors."
Yes. That is a part of the movie. The movie is this sort of hall of mirrors experience where the lines are blurred and you don't know who the paparazzi is, who the celebrities are. You don't know whether or not it's real or unreal. It's just this crazy experience.
And the same goes, I suppose, with your day job being the star of Entourage.
Yeah, sometimes I wake up and I don't know whether or not I'm Vince or am I Adrian today. Most days I prefer to be Vince.
Yeah. Now, why did you end up putting this documentary together? Why did you end up turning the camera back on the camera holders themselves, the paparazzo?
Well, for a long time the paparazzi were a curiosity and a nuisance. And then it was one night this young boy came up to me and asked to take my picture, and he took out a camera twice the size of his head and snapped away with rapid fire and basically accosted me.
Yeah.
And started running away. And I said, "Oh, no, you don't. Come here, you little..." I don't know if you can curse, but he was a little brat, to say the least. I grabbed him by the collar and I said, "What the hell do you think you're doing? You're not going to exploit me. I'm going to turn the cameras on you and give you a taste of your own medicine."
So the idea for the documentary seeded just like that?
Yeah. I mean, it was apparent. You see this kid and you're like, it was too ridiculous to see this little kid. He's I don't know how tall he was, like, probably he came up to the waist of most of these big burly paparazzi. And he was out there, holding his own. Did you think that this guy was a little bit of a brat at the time? Yeah, a little. He's a little precocious. He had to be aggressive to keep up with the other guys, and so he's foul-mouthed. He's like a little street kid, street punk.
Well, so much confidence as well. Well, I think especially here in New Zealand, we're not really used to that sort of level of confidence.
Really?
Yeah, and especially in kids.
Yeah, well, it was definitely something that it was very unusual to see a kid who, didn't really he had no fear. He was like a street kid, but punk. I mean, back in the day, and you had punks, and they would go out and they would start fights and stuff, and now you have this new breed of punk. Who, little kid going out and taking pictures of celebrities. It was very bizarre. And
is it the media, do you think, that gives them this kind of confidence, this attitude?
Absolutely. I mean, I think more and more people are learning how to take pictures and use their cameras to make their own tabloid.
Yeah.
It's too easy to judge the paparazzi or judge people. You have to put yourself in their shoes and see what it feels like.
Did you really succeed in finding out what it did feel like?
Yeah, I mean, all it took was one big paparazzi frenzy experience to feel it, and it's quite a rush. It is.
Since arriving here in New Zealand, have you felt any kind of paparazzi pressure at all?
I was just accosted by a couple fans outside coming into the radio station.
But those are fans.
I met the one paparazzo that is in New Zealand.
Yeah.
You have one, right?
Yeah, probably everyone knows his name.
And he was really nice.
Yeah.
And which is, in LA, not a qualification for paparazzi.
Yeah.
Can't be nice.
I think as much as it gets here in New Zealand as disposable cameras, very cheap kind of cameras, it's not in any way kind of organized.
Yeah. Well, I'm encouraging everybody to become their own paparazzi and check out the movie. They can go to the website, teenagepaparazzo.com, and eventually I'm going to have a section where you can be a paparazzo and you can upload your own photos.
How's that going to work?
Well, we'll see. I mean, I think the idea is that, nowadays, and you see it in this Teenage Paparazzo, that anybody can take their cameras and snap photos.
The documentary is also going to be screening eventually on HBO as well, isn't it, in the States?
Yeah.
So therefore it's going to become extremely available, I suppose.
Yeah.
Are you happy with that? Because no doubt people are going to start sharing this around as well.
I hope so.
Because at the moment it's on the festival circuit.
Yeah, well, it's coming out around the world in different ways.
Yeah.
Eventually, it will be available, hopefully, to everybody, and that's why I'm encouraging people to come check out the website and keep up to date with what's going on.
Because as far as I know, it's the first kind of documentary of its kind. It's very educational, I suppose. Do you see it being used that way?
Actually, we are going to be going around to high schools and colleges and talking to kids about their experience and showing them the film and getting them to look at tabloid in a different way and find and empower themselves to tell stories using cameras and technology, but tell stories that hopefully are more meaningful than these sort of base tabloid stories. Which can be quite base.
Which is something that you, throughout the documentary, you try to instill in Austin as well, to actually put the camera down and go, or not necessarily put it down, but use the camera for other purposes.
Yeah, I mean, I guess really what I ultimately learned was there was nothing wrong with what Austin was doing. In fact, that autonomous spirit that he showed by going out and taking a picture and forging his own life, making something, instead of just sitting back passively watching everything, but he was actually becoming an active participant, was exciting, and I felt like it should be encouraged and cultivated to something maybe more constructive than just tearing down celebrities or making fun of people.
And not to give anything away, but towards the end of the film, you sort of decide, well, it's time to finish the documentary. Do you become friends? Are you friends?
Yeah, I always look at Austin as sort of my the younger brother I never had.
Really?
So, yeah, I mean he's an only child. I'm an only child. So I think it's perfect. We sort of fulfill the role of siblings together.
Does he still want to be famous?
I think he probably does. He's looking up to his older brother. He wants to join me. But does he be me?
But does he want to? Does he want to be famous for the sake of being famous, or to actually do something?
Well, I think after this whole experience making the film, he's gained some really valuable perspective. So we'll see what happens when the film comes out and people want to know him, and I mean he is like a little Justin Bieber, So
is that a good thing?
I don't know. Do we need more than one in the world?
Yeah. So it sounds like he's still got a bit of coaching to be done from you.
Well, I can't tell him what to do.
Finally, one more thing I do want to know is that are you being treated differently now by the press, having put out this documentary, and some of this press actually seeing the documentary? Are you treated differently now?
Well, I've noticed that a lot of the paparazzi were nervous about the film. They were nervous because I am essentially turning the cameras on them and giving them a taste of their own medicine. So, I think they're like, oh no, what's he gonna do? So we'll see what they say about the film.
But what about the magazine editors themselves? Because you've shone the light on them as well, and their style and what they do and the stories that they make up.
Yeah. Yeah,
you've exposed them.
Yeah, I think everybody, even Harvey Levin of TMZ, was nervous about what I was gonna do because they don't want to be exposed for being the rat bastards that they are. And
which is fairly strong language, really.
Yeah. Well, I mean, a lot of them wanted to beat me up.
Yeah.
They wanted to.
Well, you could defend yourself.
they didn't want me to You know, the thing about media is it's, you know, the people in power want to keep the control. They want to be the ones telling the stories. They want to be the ones getting the attention of an audience, and they don't want to give that up. So they're nervous when someone else comes and makes a film that might get more attention than them.
Adrian Grenier, thanks so much for coming in and telling us about Teenage Paparazzo. And it is screening at the New Zealand International Film Festival. There's the website where people can check out all the times and details. You'll be at the Wellington screening as well, I know. nzff.co.nz. Thanks, Adrian. Cheers.
Cheers. See you later.
See ya.